Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams. Present. Trustee Brooks. Present. Trustee Jenkins Bell. Present. Trustee Franklin.
Present.
Trustee Bolden.
Present.
Trustee McMullen.
Present. Here, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Hold the flag in the back. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Bowman. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Williams.
This is the vote on the minutes. Approval of the minutes.
Thank you. Trustee Brooks.
Roll tide.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Roll tide.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides approve the minutes.
Trustee Bolden.
Vote aye.
Trustee McMullen.
Vote aye.
Mayor, you did.
Vote aye. Now is the time for our general public comments. He's getting a list. We'll just share it. David Sevier.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees. I'm coming before you to ask you to table item F2F, which is the resolution making the appointment of and designating the village manager as TIF administrator. Every community is required to have a TIF administrator. In most communities, the TIF administrator is a non-paid position, and it is held by an official of the village, which could be the mayor or president of the board. It can be the clerk of the board. It can be the village manager of the board, and it can be the finance director of the board. At the appointment of the board, it is a non-paid position. Every community is required to have one. I would suggest that you do a survey. You can do it through South Suburban mayors and managers. You can do it through the communities and ask these communities how many of them have paid TIF administrators. In the event that there is not a employed or, better put it, an official TIF administrator, there is a company. It's usually an economic development company that acts as a TIF administrator in the absence. It is a third party, non-related to an employee or official that acts as a TIF administrator. It's a great thing to appoint the village manager as a TIF administrator. I'm just saying, it is a non-paid appointment. And that's all I want to make clear, that we're not adding additional dollars to a budget that we can't afford right now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sevier. Mary Truss.
Good evening to the board and the listening public and whoever else is out there. My name is Mary Truss. I'm a longtime resident of the village, and I just came here today with a public service announcement. It's the holidays, and we're doing a lot of cooking. And we have got to make sure that the appliances and apparatuses that we are cooking with are appropriate for the need. For instance, if you are cooking with a pot and say it's Capilon or cast iron, and you burn, What you want to do is try to soak the pot first, scrub it up, and save it. These are quite expensive pots, and you don't want to just burn them and throw them away. Some cost $300-400. If you're doing with T-fal, you might want to try to save that a little bit. But if it's Teflon, don't worry about it, trying to save it, call the fire department, just throw it out. Okay? But watch what you're cooking with. When in doubt, throw it out. That's what we say at the people who have certifications for food by the Illinois Health Department, which I am. They say when in doubt, throw it out. Thank you. Have a safe holiday and watch what you're cooking with.
Thank you very much, Mr. Trustee. All right, that ends our public comment section. And we move on to unfinished business. New business. No unfinished business, new business. Yeah, right? Finish that up.
Check. Hold on. Yeah.
It's a shame when you can't see through them glasses no more. So, man, can I make, may I be recognized, man?
Yes, yes.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to combine and consider items. If the trustees will look, F2A, F2B, F2C, F2D, and F2F as one motion.
Is there, before we move further, there's a motion, I need to have a second. Motion by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Bowden. And I would like to snatch just one out of there, trustee and board.
Okay, Mayor, I can.
Item F2F.
F2F, okay. If I can make
And just make an amendment to your motion.
Yes. So, Madam Clerk, I'm going to amend that motion and make it, as we follow trustees, F2A, F2B, F2C, F2D, and F2E as one motion on the vote tonight.
Okay, there's a second. Is there a second? Second by trustee Bowden. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Williams. Both aye. Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides to combine.
Trustee Bowden.
Votes aye.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
And Mayor Rubin.
Votes aye. Now, a motion to approve. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Franklin. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams. Both aye. Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bowden.
Votes aye.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
And Mayor Rubin.
Votes aye.
Mr. Mayor, for the record, F2A is ordinance O 2019-30. F2B 2019-31. F2C is ordinance 2019-32. F2D is 2019-33. F2E is 2019-34.
Okay, does everyone have that one?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
All right, now we're gonna call item, that was F2F, a resolution making the appointment of and designating the village manager as a TIF administrator. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Williams. Second by trustee McMullen. Questions? Roll call.
Yeah.
Is that a question, trustee?
Yeah, yes, Mayor. Just want to correct, I know we just heard it tonight, but I want to make sure I was not wrong. Does the TIF administrator, if there's any pay for a TIF administrator, it does come out of the TIF itself, it does not come from the general funds of the taxpayers? Okay. And the last two TIF administrators were our village managers, correct? Okay, then I don't have any objections right now. That's just from what I traditionally known as had been for our village.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Williams. Both sides. Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Pass.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
Mayor Rudin.
Pass. Wait on my trustee.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Mayor Rudin.
I concur. Votes aye.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, trustee.
You did say this was coming out of the TIF fund.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. Because I had a question as to where it was coming from as well.
Yeah, the TIF. To my understanding, it comes out of the TIF. It doesn't,
Yeah, it won't come out of the general funds. Madam Village Manager, am I correct? Right. We've been paying everything, when it's a lawyer, that also, anything dealing with TIF-related work comes out of the TIF funds. It does not come out of general funds.
And the previous manager, it was coming out of the TIF fund as well?
Correct. Everything came out of he didn't, no, he wasn't paid, but anything dealing with the TIF-related work comes out of general funds. Correct.
I have a question.
Ms. Morgan.
Just want to know, what is it? You say it's coming out. We don't know. Mayor, can I be?
Do you want me to clarify this money,
Trustee Williams, go right ahead.
Is it clear that the money does not come from the village funds? It comes from the TIFs, the people that we put on TIFs?
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
Trustee Brooks.
No, Ms. Morgan asked, what was it? I apologize for not saying anything dealing with TIF-related work, Ms. Morgan. It comes out of the TIF funds. It does not come out of general funds, whether, your tax dollar. It's come from the TIF itself. So it's not from the general funds.
And Mr. Sevier, I'm going to let you ask your question now, but we're going to get out of this habit of answering questions once the public section is over. Because Mrs. Morgan did it this time, I'm going to allow you as well. Be fair to equal. Come on, Mr. Sevier.
My question wasn't what fund it was being paid out of. My question was that a TIF administrator is a village official, which is either the mayor, the clerk, the village manager, or the finance director as appointed. Historically, most communities do not pay for a TIF administrator who is an official. That responsibility lies on that official. There is no payment for that position. If you do decide to get an external TIF administrator, it is usually a company that does the TIF work for you, and they can be considered your administrator, but you are paying for a non-related third party to do that. If I ask that you survey other communities before you pass this in terms of money, whether it's coming out the TIF or not. That's all I'm asking you to do is survey other communities, because all communities have to have, that have TIFs, have to have a TIF administrator.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sevier.
And I must clear.
All right. Order. We're going to move on.
I must clear.
Mrs. Morgan.
In the past, I have often asked that the board have a meeting with us. You guys are using terminology, you're talking, and you're having a meeting among yourselves. What is the purpose of us being here? I'm trying to be respectful. I'm just trying to understand what the board is talking about. When you're using language or not using language that we don't understand, somebody's got to ask you, what are you talking about? So
Okay.
that's the only reason why. So please, get in the habit of having a meeting. When I say a meeting, with us.
All right.
You have meetings with yourself.
Point well taken.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. And we'll hear that, and I encourage you to come out to the COW meeting, because that's the meeting when these things transpire, and that's when you have the opportunity in an open dialogue, okay, to get a better understanding. Thank you very much, good point. Okay, report of Board of Trustees, oh no, bills payable. Oh, F2G, I'm way off. F2G, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement for property casualty and workers' compensation insurance. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Yes.
can I make a motion to table this?
A second.
There's a motion to table that item. Motion to table by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Williams. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
Mayor Ruthie.
Votes aye. A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement by and between the Village of University Park and Trim Electronics. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Williams. Questions?
Very quickly, Mayor, this is in reference to the construction, these next two items over in the, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's for the wiring work. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
Mayor Ruthie.
Votes aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution R 2019-35.
Okay.
Can I be, can I ask you?
Come on, trustee.
On Exhibit C of Trim Electric, it says on page 10, Exhibit C, consent form, it says in addition, the successful bidder further agrees to identify and hold harmless the village of Bellwood.
Good catch.
That's a typo.
That's a
I think
typo.
they use their
They did.
template and never
Yeah, they
changed
used
the,
that template.
so that will be corrected.
That would be corrected.
Thank you, trustee.
Thank you.
Item F2I, motion to approve the payment of $6,375 for additional work to be performed by Tri-Electronics pertaining to Project 1848 as set forth in and defined in Change Order 001. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Brooks, second by trustee Williams. Roll call.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
Mayor Ruthie.
Votes aye.
Another question?
Come on, trustee.
No. And this may be just,
And next time, we try to get it before the roll call, because it might have an effect.
oh, okay, that's right, okay, never mind.
No, go ahead.
Okay, on page, the second page of this change order, the additional $6,275, was there a bid for this, and why wasn't it done originally? Because this seems to be for additional work,
Yeah,
and I may be wrong.
yeah, this was a bid, we just did a change order.
Oh, a
Add
change
to
order,
it, that's
okay.
all, it's the same bidder you all approved, this is just a change order.
Okay.
You know, we put in the, remember I discussed about the two panels, inside the bollard, the conditions, that's it.
Okay.
We needed to change it, we put in two versus the one with.
Mayor, be recognized.
Yes, trustee.
I did go over there, Mayor Rudez, and I was like 2 weeks ago, the village manager had mentioned it, and I just so happened to come over during the census meeting, and attended, or he walked me through the new village hall, and apparently, yeah, it looks beautiful, but it was a whole lot of things that they did not do with the wires and so forth behind, and being a person of, not an electrician, but messing with wires and with ham radio and so forth, those wires, there's no way you can even fish them through the wall. You're gonna have to open the wall and go inside. Yeah, and so I was disappointed because it looks beautiful, and it's like you're gonna mess up a whole lot of good drywalling and paint and everything. If it was set, we would have been able to move in there. But apparently and actually, if I'm not mistaken, it would have happened on the 25th, but yeah, but it was a mess up there. Thank you.
Okay, dope. Yeah, that is bad to have to redo the work over and over again. Attached for your approval is a list of general operating expenses for the Village of University Park that occurred between October 23rd, 2019 through November 26, 2019. General Fund, $253,716.41. Road and Bridge, $87,680.22. Town Center Fund, $7,946.52. Capital Project Fund, $52,518.84, and the Payroll Fund, $3,130.07, with a total of $404,992.06. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Bolden.
Second.
Second by Trustee Williams. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Williams,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks,
Abstain.
trustee Jenkins Bell,
Both sides.
trustee Franklin,
Both sides.
trustee Bolden,
Both sides.
trustee McMullen,
Both sides.
and Mayor Rudez.
Vote aye. Okay, now report of Board of Trustees, Village Clerk, Manager, and appointed officials, committees, and commissions. Manager, Vogel?
Very quickly, we attended a conference in San Antonio, Texas, the National League of Cities. I've been going in my lifetime, professional lifetime, to many conferences, and this probably was one of the best conferences I've ever gone to. And the thing about it is we all separated, moved around, and went to different conferences. We all headed out, boarded. When I talk about we, I'm talking about Trustee McMullen, Mayor Rudez, and Trustee Williams. We were timely at first. Some of them were walking a little slow, but they began to speed up. We were on time for the sessions. We went to the sessions from the start up in the morning until they ended, and then turned around after they closed and went to the networking system as well. We brought information back that we're going to be sharing with the Board of Trustees about the state redemptive requirements that are changed throughout the nations with regards to communities that are non-rural. Non-home rule, because they're feeling non-home rule gives the municipal authority to make various kinds of law as a result of being passed by referendum without usurping the authority of the state. They can do them in their own house. Now with a lot of the new national redemptive changes, they want to change a lot of those laws. In our town especially, since we are home rule, are going to have to pay more attention to the proposed legislative changes, which mean, in fact, if it does, this board, this town would lose some of its rights to govern their citizens under this form of government. And that's where the problem is going to lie. But anyway, that's the first thing, and we'll be talking about that. Another thing, when I initially started with the University Park, Illinois on the 21st, one thing that was brought to my attention by department heads is the non-usability of certain pieces of equipment or becoming cost restrictive to have some of those pieces of equipment repaired. So after getting estimates on some of them. Like I said, they were cost prohibitive. So what I have been suggesting, and even more so, but I went to one of these sessions while I was there that talked about not only creating a capital improvement plan, of which we're finally doing. As I understand, one hasn't been in University Park for a long time. Well, we're recreating a capital improvement plan, and a capital improvement plan, of course, is nothing merely but, you know, sensing your departments, your department heads, looking at the types of equipment that may be necessary to effectively run a department, doing various kinds of streets, a very comprehensive. That's what we're doing now. But in the meantime, there is a lot of equipment that externally look pretty well, but internally in the guts, they're not operable. So I had talked about having some kind of public surplus auction. While we were there, we found this company. They operate in Chicago, all over the country, that will come out here, assist us in gathering all the unused equipment, police, fire, public works, any other vehicles that are meant to provide some dollars on blocks. So they will come out. They will not charge us, and let me repeat this, they are not charging us personally out of our coffers so whatsoever. They're doing this based on getting a percentage from this unused, decaying, whatever equipment, because people can sometimes use this equipment for parts, bottom line, and they want to do a public surplus auction. And that way, and we wouldn't plan it until next year. I brought it back to the board to make it public so that citizens will know that they have to publish it. They're going to have the auctioneer there, and I will go through and discuss this in more detail with the board, but I wanted just to make it a matter of public, and that we can get some dollars, substantial dollars for this equipment to put in what we call a surplus fund, and that's a budgeting process that I was involved in, and the trustee also went to that. We were taught how it works, what we can do, work with our auditor to get it done, to establish this fund. This fund, this surplus fund, can be used for existing within a fiscal year or subsequent budget years to begin to build up, to lessen our need to borrow, to use these dollars, in fact, to purchase some of the capital improvement. The Village of University Park has much equipment that it can put on the chopping block that we can't use, not using, and now is the time to do it. And I always believe that 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So that's another item. The other thing I just want to very quickly, and I'm going to, trustees, I'm really trying to make it short, but I just want to, I'm trying to stick to that, it's not working. I just wanted to mention that today we had our first public session. It's called Vision Marketing. And this Vision Marketing plan is pulling in all sectors of the community, all sectors of sources that we use. This is one of several meetings. From this, we're going to be able to revise the TOD, the Transit Oriented District Plan, that we're proposing around the metro station, which is the last stop. We're also using this information of existing facilities and amenities that exist in town to assist in writing certain kinds of grants, and we're presenting our grant modules of how we're going to do that. We had Public Representative Day, sewer, sanitary sewer representatives. We had South Suburban mayors and managers. We're getting ready to planner in. It's almost every sector, and we had staff available. The comments we had to get out of this meeting, it lasted for 2 hours, and had we not stopped it, it would have gone. Our vision board had several ideas. We put all our major issues in priorities. We've agreed to have a survey that we're going to allow every citizen in this town and everybody to visit, to include train station, governor state universities, businesses, public sector, metro station. We're going to be distributing these surveys to allow to get input from all sectors to begin to do this. But just to leave it at that, we're coming back around the 28th of January, and we'll be putting it out there again. People that are interested can in fact come and we'll get you in. It was very good. The final thing I just want to mention, I'm sure I'm mentioning some other things, but one thing I want to mention is we have applied for two things. Applied for a landmark grant for the Regal Farm. There's a prominent citizen that provided us with some substantial information prior to this, and it was a CD and the ordinance declaring that a historic landmark, and I think her name was Mrs. Trust. And we took that information, she distributed it to us, we provided it and fed it into grants information, state, county, and fed information. We were able to come up with info for a landmark grant. We submitted it, and we got all the parts in. We haven't gotten any preliminary information back, but this is how we're going to do grants. That's one grant that's in. We also had our conference call today on a conference hearing. We made applications to Metra in an attempt to get some monies, but they want the feasibility first. But we got in phase one. You had to have your application in I think it was about the 15th of November. Bottom line is we got it in. They called us today for the conference. We're on the top of the food chain. They will let us know in January, end of January, first couple of weeks in February, whether or not we were recipients. But we're actively pursuing grants, feasibility, any monies that are out there that we can possibly use. EDA development for a new village hall, rehab. We're going after every type of money that comes up and say, here it is. We're just going out after it to make sure that the fire department, the public works, the police department, and other phases for village development is met. That's my end of my report. Thank you, Mayor Board.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor.
Trustee.
Very good.
Since the committee of the whole, my trustee report is that just recently I attended with Chief Chelios, Chief Chelios and Chief Wilson, Laraway, our communication for our police and fire band. It was a very interesting meeting. In fact, I never thought I think we act more civil than they do, but it was over the call volumes and in reference to the service. If you do call the police and fire, they're trying to make it where it's much faster. Apparently what has happened is that there has been a little delay, and for those who don't know, it used to be called EastCom. So when they joined, it became a bigger, and it's now 32 towns in one network. So the days have changed. I'm used to my very own dispatcher. University Park is used to those days where we had, but times has changed. So used to be you call and say there's a burglary in progress, and the dispatcher could talk to you at the same time and hit a button. But now they have a whole different process where there's about a 3 to 4 minute wait. But they're working on it, and they're pretty much 1 more year away from complete to where it should be. I also attended the finance meeting in reference to the budget. So I will say that since the last meeting, I have met with the mayor, the village manager. It has been productive. I would say this village manager, I can walk into her, and you just heard how busy she was. She dropped everything she was doing. I think she kicked somebody out the office and said, "Trustee, let's talk." So the finance meeting, however, I see 2 of them that were here, and they would like to at least have a joint board finance meeting with our 3rd reading, like we did with the first 2, because this budget is a little different than the first 2 when they first had our joint meeting together. There's some things they want to discuss. And I'll just leave it at that because that's between the chair, the village manager, and the mayor. Lastly, next to last, I want to say Rich Township. I had to go to Richie's. For those who do know or don't know, I am a football coach at Richie's, and I had to turn in my key because it was indeed the last of Rich East existing. Yeah, they made me, although it says if Richie's stays open, I had a great evaluation and it's recommended for me to be there. But I want everyone here to understand we do have UP kids attending at Rich East. It's part of our community. I want to say, when it was on the news and they were trying to go around, I seen our Miss Morgan one time, and they need our help, they really do. And when I seen Miss Morgan on television, the first thing I thought is that I knew we'll be okay, because one thing I told the football coaches is that when it comes to University Park, we had Coretta Scott King, and that was an issue. And our residents rallied, our officials rallied around it. For some reason, Park Forest is moving a little bit slower than what they should. And I just want to say that when I listen to the plan, in case we come back, they want to move the football, all three football teams, all Rich East, Rich South, Rich Central going to become one. That's what I was just told this month. So that's what made my odds of being dropped off because of tenure. Yeah. And so, but here's the thing, listen to what they want to do. They want to ship our kids way over to, yes. They want to go way over there, and if it's not Lincoln Way, they want to go to Central and build Central out. But Rich Central don't even really have a locker room to put their football equipment. So how are you going to suit 3 schools into one? And so the reason why I say this, folks, is because this is serious. We have kids, I have some football players that say, man, I'll come to Crete. They have people that really, they're not even districted. They're talking about doing this in March. So if your kid is still at Rich East and you're watching, you're trying to figure out if your kid has to go to South, but it's his classes at Central, how are you going to bus it? You're going to bus your kids in the cold? And for those who know about liability, I'm sorry. That bus gets into an accident, 227, how you going to pay for it? Now, I'm not going to say anymore because I still want to coach.
Hey, your coaching day is not over, God.
No, it's not. And I'll say this. God is good. One time, someone asked, when I got the job 2 years ago, Trustee Williams was standing there when someone said, why are you not coaching at Creek Monique? You coached it for the Mavericks and so forth. And before I answered, Trustee Williams interrupted and said, because God put him there. And I would say, and it wasn't because, I had worked there 20 years, 20 years ago before I got injured, and I couldn't work no more. And it wasn't because my wife was there. She left Thornton to come to Rich East. But before the season was over and this all transpired, I even asked Creek Monique, if you need help, I'm always here. So the doors is always open. So wherever God goes, but in a sense, though, I feel like I may need the rest of the year because I have went 9 years solid.
Oh, no, ain't no resting.
Coach Franklin started laughing. But I want the public to pay attention to that. I thought that was something that we should know. And I definitely wanted to point out when I seen you, Miss Morgan, on television, it told me that the Army is there, but she can't do it by herself in the group that she bring. We need to put more pressure on 227 because they only closed that or did what they did by 1 vote. It was 4-3. So they hit us by surprise, okay? And lastly, I would like to thank everyone, or wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. We all have something to be thankful for. Let's stop talking about what we want and be thankful for what we have.
Watch out.
God bless you.
All right. Trustee Williams?
Yes, I agree with everything that our manager said. We had a very interesting and informative time on this last trip.
One thing I really, really thought about that was said at one of the conferences was, when you, just like we lease our cars, police cars, trucks, and all of these things. We lease these things. They take care of them when it's like an engine, something big like that, but we do the oil change. We pay for all of those little things. So why don't we do this? Why don't we buy these cars? Why don't we do it? Why don't we do this so that when we get ready, we need a new one, we buy a new one, and we sell the ones we have. That's what they do. We give it back to them. They're making money off of us every month. It does not belong to us. Am I right? So this is what I'm trying to say. Do like they do. We buy our cars, we take care of our cars, and at the end of those mileage, what is it, 150, 200,000, we sell it like they do. We give them all of this money, all of these years, and then to give it back to them, they sell it. And they, what? Have us lease more. That's the best one that I see. And other than that, this town, they had a lot of committees over there, a lot of people at the expo to help you build ahead economic development. We need that. This is what it needs. And it's like baking a cake. Everything we need, we just have to bring it in until we get the icing. So that's what I learned. And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and see you soon.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Jenkins.
Good evening. I had the opportunity, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I've been doing. November 6th, I had the opportunity to go to Open Gym down at Creek Money Middle School. It was 91 children in attendance. It was amazing to me. They came, they knew that it was going on. They came with quarters, pennies, dimes, because it's a $3 interest fee. They had the time of their lives. But what was concerning to me is that, as we all know, we have a water crisis. And we know that every water fountain is covered up in all of the schools, so the children could not drink water. And that was concerning to me. So I wanted to ask the village manager and mayor to reach out to Aqua in regards to this for the next session that's coming up in December. Also, I wanted to say a special thanks to Faith Movers and also First Baptist for feeding so many families within our community and outside of our community and making their Thanksgivings possible. And I also wanted to shed a little light on their food pantry that Faith Movers has, that's sponsored, I think, by Illinois Northern Food Bank. I had the opportunity to take a resident there, and I was astounded at what was going on in the community. And they explained to me to keep it in the community, they have to do numbers. So if it's something that is within your power during this season of giving and being thankful, if you reach one, take one. If you know someone that is in need, please, please, please take them. I also have to thank Ms. Miller for being there volunteering all the time with the children. And I mean, she's tough. She was keeping the teenagers in check. They knew to get in line. Ms. Keeley, they have great respect for her as well. And we also got one of our other people out, Miss Trust came out to help along too. So it was a really good time, and I'm looking forward to going again and embracing the children with this little activity that we do have for them to do. Also, I want to take the time to thank Ms. Deborah Stroud too for bringing Northern Food Bank here to our village, because it's an amazing thing. You know, I was at work, I didn't have a chance to get to see it, but it is amazing. And I want everyone to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I am thankful to sit here, and I am just humbled by the experience, and I will continue to try to work collectively with our board to move this village forward and bringing all of our ideas together as one. Thank you, and have a happy holiday.
Anybody else? Trustee Franklin?
So I just want to start by wishing all the families in the village of University Park a happy Thanksgiving. I had the pleasure on Sunday we hosted our 2019 football and cheer banquet for the youth in University Park. It was an awesome event. It's just an awesome opportunity to recognize the youth in University Park. To the youth in University Park that was a part of the program, the football and cheerleaders, I just want to let you know that I'm extremely proud of what you accomplished, not only on the field, but also in the classroom. As trustee mentioned, Family Night at Creek Monique Middle School is in full swing. The next session will be December 6th, and mark your calendar also for December 13th. It takes place at Creek Monique Middle School, door number 16, and it's from 6 to 9, and the cost is $3 per child. So we want all the children and the youth in the village to come out and support. And as always, we can also use volunteers to help manage the children. Special thanks to the ones who came out last time. We need as much support as we can, because this is something that our children can do on a Friday night that's productive. Unfortunately, the open gym, the Family Night at Governor State, has been canceled indefinitely because of someone decided to vandalize the university. So this is an unfortunate thing, because this was a great opportunity for families to come out on Sunday nights in partnership with Monique Township. And they allowed us to not only use the weight room, but use the gym room and the racquetball room and everything. And this is something that my family took advantage of on a weekly basis. This just speaks to the importance of us getting to the point where we can establish our own facilities for our families in our community, where we can make sure that we're providing the adequate security and making sure we're putting things in place so that our families have places to go, not only on Fridays, but Sundays and other days throughout the week. The last thing, as we get into the holiday season, I just want to shed light on something that's a very important issue that's not only been plaguing Illinois and urban communities across the country, and it's the fact that we have currently about 64,000 African-American young ladies and women that have come up missing. There's not enough dialogue around this topic. And unfortunately, a lot of these cases are unsolved and underreported by the media. I believe as elected officials, it's important that we use our platforms to have dialogues around these type of issues, because if we don't, then it kind of gets swept under the rug in so many instances. So it's only a matter of time before these type of situations become prevalent in our community. So we want to make sure we're being proactive in ways that we can combat these type of situations. So in the near future, I would like to take leadership on providing some type of workshop for the young ladies and young adults in our community, so that we can begin to have these type of conversations and helping them to understand that this is a real issue, and it doesn't seem real until it hits home. So I believe with my background in education administration and also wrestling, I believe that we can put together a workshop where we can teach our young ladies some defense tactics, just in case they find themselves in these type of unfortunate situations. I would also challenge Trustee McMullen to partner with me with your background in martial arts, because I think this is something that wouldn't cost a village a penny, but it would provide so much for the young ladies in our community, just in case they're ever involved in an unfortunate situation where someone is either trying to kidnap, abduct, or put them into these sex traffic rings. Those are my comments. God bless.
All right, thank you, Trustee. Trustee Shirley?
Good afternoon. Good evening. I too want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and be safe. Any report that I was going to make, Ms. Ernestine Beck, but she and I have been in all the same meetings pretty much, so she pretty much mentioned everything that I would have. Also, as you know, I'm part of the Economic Development Committee, and we are constantly meeting with some very, very, very interesting businesses that really want to come to University Park. So with that in mind, I just want to say have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee McMullen?
Good evening, everyone. I would like to first say thank you for this opportunity to be up here and to serve you as a community, because my partner, Mr. Brooks, will tell you, while we were on the campaign trail, we knocked on doors all evening, all day, rain, snow, whatever. We were there, and we interrupted quite a few dinners, right? And I just wanted to partake in the dinners. But I just wanted to bring light to this, this meeting because this job is really considered a part-time job. But in essence, it's a full-time position because at least three of the trustees up here work a full-time job like myself. But the trustees that do not have a full-time job that's retired and is able to put in some time other than the regular allotted time, I'm really grateful. I am grateful to the trustees and the mayor for putting in extra time because even the mayor's job is not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. And the mayor treats it as a full-time job. And I am very appreciative to the time that they put in while I'm at work. I can just say to myself, I can call any of the trustees that are working full-time here and I can ask them what's going on, and they will give me the lowdown of what's going on. I'm really appreciative to the board that's putting in this time, and I cannot say too much about the village manager because I was at that conference in San Antonio, and it was well covered by the mayor and the trustees, and even if I didn't make every session, because it's absolutely bonkers there because they had so many sessions that you can spend every waking moment at a session. Just depends upon which one you are interested in. And I feel very comfortable that we have chosen, well, I wasn't on the board, but I feel very comfortable that we chose the right manager for this village because I see a lot of things that are happening in this village that is very aggressive too. Because at this point in time, the mayor has stated to me that he wants this village to make money as opposed to just taxing everybody. So we are well on our way to bringing this change to University Park. And I like the aggressiveness that's happening in this village, and I like the aggressiveness that's happening on this board. So at least I was a part of the last administration. I can tell you, this administration is moving forward and is taking us further into the future because I was a part of that last board. We were doing it, and this board is doing it as well. So I am greatly appreciative for the opportunity to serve you and to wish everybody here a happy Thanksgiving because this is a privilege. I know I paid money, I know I knocked on doors, I know I convinced people along with my partner, because I always feel safe on the campaign trail with an ex-police officer over there, right? Because he always had his piece. I'm sorry. I always had his piece, and we were knocking on doors, and I really appreciate that. And for all of the residents here in University Park, the mayor and the board of trustees and the department heads are working very tirelessly to make this village a better place in which to live, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. And I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, okay? Take care.
Thank you much, trustee. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to report on, I attended last month our annual Municipal Clerks Institute and Training Academy. It was, once again, phenomenal. It's something that I say all the time. It would be great if there was a training institute for other elected officials, because we are trained, it is a college courses, and we have phenomenal directors, presenters, and staff. We did a simulation on rising out of poverty. It is so amazing to see. And in doing that, it reminded me how grateful and how blessed we are that we don't have to go through on a daily basis what people who are living in poverty goes to. It's a rat race. So that's something as a community we need to give attention to those of us who are in need and not look down on those people, but to give a helping hand to lift them up. We dealt heavily into the changes in legislation, all opinions from the Attorney General's office on FOIAs and the Open Meeting Act. And I am grateful to be able to attend these seminars. Also, one of the other things that it's happening, the cannabis goes into effect January 1st. So we had a half-day session on all of the things that go with the processes of licensing. And it's not an easy thing for these companies to get these licenses. But if we, as a community, is lucky enough to get a facility, there's hopefully the revenue that comes in from that and these other ventures that this board and this administration is working on. For the first time, University Park might reach half of the potential that was projected when we were developed as a PUD. So we have to work together as a united body. And remember, no man succeeds alone. This board can't do it alone. So we need the entire community. If you've got complaints, that's great, bring them to the board. But I'm sure if you have complaints, you also have suggestions on how to make changes. So let's not just complain, but let's come with ways to make this better. I'd like to wish everybody a blessed and happy Thanksgiving.
Wow, thank you, Madam Clerk. Chief, anything?
You guys can probably hear me, but I just want to let everybody know that I did attend the National School Safety Conference this past week, or last week in Las Vegas, and obtained a lot of information. Most of our presenters were chiefs from all of the communities where they've had active shooters, where they've had the different shootings in various parts of the country. So they were able to give us a lot of information on how to prepare, what to do better, and how to prevent if you can. There's really not too much that you can do to prevent. But there was a wealth of information and a lot of networking and sharing. You know, everything from within the schools, how to, the codes within the schools on the door handles and things, how things are made within the schools, to the approach that the officers take, you know, when approaching, you know, an incident like this, to the training that goes on from all the different schools and so forth. So a lot of information. The school district, I was fortunate enough to have the school district send me for that training. Yeah. And we do collaborate as far as all the different surrounding villages and working together. Everybody's basically got the same training on approach and so forth. So overall, it just makes all of the communities a lot safer. You know, if one of us has to go, if it happens at one of our schools, or more likely, even at one of our workplaces. Workplace violence is even higher than school violence. But, you know, we don't want to get into that mindset that it can never happen to us, because it can happen, and we want to be prepared when it does.
Hey, Chief,
Besides that, just,
can we do our staff some ALICE training? I would like to make the suggestion that our officers have ALICE training. I took it with you, so
Yes.
I know how it is, yeah.
Right. Yes, I'd like to do that, and especially when we get into once Village Hall moves into the new building, because all when we were in older buildings and stuff, like I said, those handles and moving things, and it makes a huge difference in the safety and, you know, what's recommended with that, but I'd be happy to provide that training.
Thank you, Chief. And Mr. Byther, Public Works, nothing about snow plowing, let them know about the cars. Nothing. All right.
Well, I guess I will.
I want them to know.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, viewing orders. I would like to start off first by saying happy Thanksgiving and, you know, enjoy your family. We're here one day and we're gone the next. So cherish and enjoy your family. I would like to say, you know, thank God for the beautiful weather we're having. We're not having any snow right now, so that's a good thing. But when we do have snow, we'll be out full force. Depends on the precipitation we're getting. If it's coming down heavy, I have all my trucks out. But if it's coming down light, you know, I may not need but 2 or 3 trucks out. But if your car's out on the street, and as we all do watch the news, and the snows, and they let you know that it's a pretty big snowstorm, I would advise each resident to move your car off the street because as you know, as you may not know, it does get hazardous when you're in those trucks and the wind's blowing and everything's happening. So just make it a little bit safer, a lot more easier for us to access those roadways and get them clean for our first responders. Again, I would like to thank the board and the mayor and our new, I can't call her new village manager now because she's off and running, and my new name for her is Willie Gall because she's out the gates quick as lightning, and I'm proud to work alongside her and my other 2 first responders too. But again, God bless you and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Come on, Chief. Last but not least, maybe we'll get something from the treasurer. I'll close out and then we can get out of here.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Last week on Monday, the 18th, Mayor Rudez, Trustee Brooks, and the manager were able to come over to the fire department and help us welcome in some rather good news. We received 2 donations to the fire department from companies within our own industrial park. IHI Electric, which operates the power plants, gave us a very generous donation of $4,000 to purchase an advanced ET camera. What this camera does, it improves our ability to intubate patients, whether it be medical or trauma related. So when we are able to improve our equipment like that, it overall improves our service to everyone in the community. Dot Foods was also present to issue us a check for $2,500 to help us get our PPE lockers up to date. This is one of the next steps in our cancer prevention initiative we started on probably 2 years ago. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to properly store the protective equipment we wear when we're not wearing it. So it isolates, you know, carcinogens and other things that are cancer causing. In terms of training, the fire department is now 100% compliant with its mandatory reporting requirements per DCFS. We were on the list of mandatory reporters for, you know, child abuse and endangerment because of our role in the community as EMTs and firefighters. So we got that out of the way. December 1st through January 4th is our campaign to keep the wreath red. The stations now have a Christmas wreath hung on the front that is strung with red lights, and that's the way we want to keep it. If we are unfortunate to have to go to a fire during this time that we believe was caused by Christmas decorations, you know, improperly handled trees,
and the fire results, one of those bulbs that we changed out to a white bulb to remind everyone that practicing fire safety is very important this time of year. And the last thing, happy Thanksgiving to all of you from all of us at the University Park Fire Department.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much. Ms. Webb?
Good evening, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, trustee.
Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has a happy and safe Thanksgiving. I want to let you know about the annual tree lighting, which is going to be December 7th here at the 90 Town Center at 5:30. And we want everyone to come out to see Santa and enjoy your neighbors. So December 7th, which is a Saturday at 5:30 for our annual tree lighting. Also, I want to thank Mr. Byther and the Department of Public Works for the great job that they're doing with the decoration around town. They really look nice.
Thank you.
Mayor, very quickly.
Can you do something quickly?
Yeah.
Come on.
I just want to say, since now I'm in off season, but I would like to thank Ms. Webb, because even today, this is week 2 of me with no football. Ms. Webb, thank you so much for being our executive liaison. You call, you make sure I'm informed. I was supposed to get back with you today about an event on the 5th, but that's my birthday. Sorry. I just would like to thank you. I would like to go down the line. I also would like to thank you, Deputy Chief Wilson, whenever I need something. Ladies and gentlemen, I came home from football, but I went up the street because the neighbor needed a jump. My wife called, but the number that was on dial was Chief Wilson. And I looked up and all these cars was flying around the corner. And then they said, "Oh, there you go, trustee." I did not know. She did not see me out front. That was my error of coming home, lifting the door, but not walking through the door. Great safety protocol. Darrell, thank you. Even though I was busy, a light went out. The light was repaired within 24 hours before I even called you. Chief, ladies and gentlemen, last week I had a smell of gas in my house. But men, listen to the women. Because when the garbage is full and they telling you it stink, trust me, it stink. You just can't smell it. But Karen smelled gas. I'm like, you ain't smell no gas. You know, well, please. Said it again. I got on the phone, called Chief. They came over, I had a gas leak. And actually, Chief, which the fire lieutenant, female, that you have? I forgot her last name. I want to say her last name. Is it Nesbitt?
Lieutenant Carrie Pacelli.
Pacelli, right? Carrie came, well, Pacelli, when she came, so I had 2 women in the house saying, "You better fix this right away," and it was fixed within a day. So Chief, I would like to thank you as well. So Ms. Neva, I would like to thank you because I just want to say, Mayor, that during the off time, every time I picked up the phone and asked any of these employees something, they were there. And I mean, they've been Johnny on the spot. So thank you all and have a good holiday with your families.
Oh, awesome. All right, I'll give my report. I also had the opportunity to go to San Antonio, and what an experience. People say, well, why do you go to these conferences? Well, the conferences are the bloodline to the pipeline to see things prior to them arriving here in the village of University Park. Yeah, you can go multiple times, but they don't happen right away. As Trustee McMullen, Liz, and Ms. Ernestine would tell you, we catch things on the national forefront before they even hit our local states. So we're way advanced. We believe in looking at the future vision. So this is an opportunity where mayors and managers and aldermen from all over come to this one place and discuss our problems and solutions. I had the opportunity of working with the Hazel Crest mayor and the mayor from Matheson, and we talked about our challenges, and I teased them about our economic incentives in Will County opposed to being in high taxation of Cook County, and how we can procure businesses that they may lose, and opportunity zones and enterprise zones and things of that nature. Very interesting. There's always a learning curve in any profession. There's an opportunity for continuing education. In politics, it's really needed because laws change just about every day that affect us, and we never know about it. So, and I'm glad to invest in the trustees, and I'm glad that they're interested. And all we're doing is improving ourselves to provide the delivery of services to the residents. And that's what we do. We're here elected to be legislators and provide services back to the community so they can be valued in those tax dollars. So we got great things coming down the line, and I just look forward to a bright 2020. I rest assure you that I'm sure we're gonna put some shovels in the ground spring of 2020. And once we start putting those shovels in the ground, it'll be like the domino effect. They'll start building like crazy. Our part of our tax bill will start going down, and as Manager Fogel said, it is my goal before this thing is over and done to have a rebate check back to our residents, because we're gonna work extremely hard to do what we need to do to plant the seed, not just for us, but for future generations, because this Board of Trustees believes in planting these seeds and believes in futuristic things and getting out in front. We're no longer the tail, we're gonna be the head. University Park is being recognized nationwide on the opportunities that we have now, and we're a business-friendly community. New relationships with Governor State. Claudia, would you want to hold that up real quick, please? Oh, Mr. Biker, hold that up, please. I don't know when we've had this before, but the residents can look forward to in spring and seeing our banners in Governor States all throughout the town. The school district, the relationship has been established. We will get to where we need to go. This will be a thriving area of economic growth. Look at our emblem on there. Isn't that nice? Turn around the other way, Mr. Biker. Isn't that nice? So we're on our way, and we're slowly but surely climbing. And, you know, it's a big deficit, but we're working day in and day out, diligently working on how to find ways to innovatively create and change the atmosphere of this climate. So if there are some problems that the residents may have or some things that they may understand, we kindly ask you to set up a meeting, sit with us on the side to get clarity and understanding, because the economic world of development is watching University Park. So we want to portray ourselves as a business-friendly village with prosperous people who are happy and looking forward to a bright future. So please just keep that in mind when you come to the podium and think and have things that may not be nice at the time or accusatory in its nature. Set up a meeting with the trustee, myself, the mayor, or anybody. I'm accessible pretty much 24/7 because I love what I do. I love people, and I love the promise and the potential of University Park. So give me 1 second, because you know I got short-term memory loss, and I forgot everything right quick. We got the tree lighting coming out. Let me talk about Aqua Water for a minute, because Aqua Water is really just about gotten under my last nerve. You know, as far as the water situation getting better and the coating on the pipes, according to the EPA and all the regulatory agencies on our daily, weekly updates, that process is getting better. I would like to encourage the residents who are still on the advisory list, such as myself, to continue to let multiple faucets run till it can, you know, the process can just speed up as much as possible. But this nonsense of them billing us for sewage charge and now back billing is unacceptable. And that's what happens when we have a private water company. So what my suggestion is, and we talked about it earlier today, is to start a petition with our residents, take it down to the ICC and protest the sewage charges right now until this water program, until this water thing is fixed. And I'm quite sure every resident in this town will participate. So the attorney's working on a petition. We're going to circulate that. We're not going to constantly let them just step on us, giving us what they want us to have. It's a problem. It's happened. We can't do anything about it. And I appreciate the residents' resiliency by standing strong and fighting and working together and during this time of turmoil and crisis, because I do rest assured that when this thing is over, I can say jokingly that we'll have the cleanest, best lead-free water in the south suburban area and move forward. So that's the plan, and I think if we put the pressure on the ICC, which is one of the governing agencies, that they will probably hear our voice, because usually when Aqua has a rate increase or something of that nature, they go down there to the ICC and they're unprotested. So it goes through and we have no say-so. But now we take that stack of petitions down there, our voice needs to be heard. So I think that would be the right route to go. There's some other legal things going on. The manager and I were with the Attorney General, came to visit us last week to give us an update on the litigation. So we're moving in the right direction, but, and then the transfer of services and making it so doggone inconvenient. We gotta fight for them to come and stay open later. People work in this community. This is a working, vibrant community where people work and shut at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It's just unacceptable for them to come here. So we're working on that. We're gonna try to make sure that they have some Saturdays. And the cold weather plan, I know it doesn't fit the needs of everybody, but unfortunately, the Attorney General offices supports that plan because there's such a liability of the delivery of the water during the cold and icy streets, and there could be injury on someone's personal property. So that's why the cold water plan is instituted. And if any resident has a hard time procuring water from their facility on Western Avenue, driving up, and if you don't have a car and can't get to Western Avenue, there's going to be a number provided where you can call and they're going to deliver the water to you. So let's continue to stay together through the holiday. I know it's going to be a whole lot of people that's going to be missing out on greens, unfortunately, because of the lack of water, but maybe they'll find, a way to make something happen. So that's the update with Aqua Water. Trustee Bolden, Trustee McMullen, Trustee, Liz, just give me a second because I didn't forget, all right? Trustee Brooks, thank you, and Chief Chelios for going down there to the 911 call center. Commander Wilson, thank you for the help from your officers, as Trustee Jenkins was notifying me about. Alice training, the 3rd airport update. The 3rd airport now has gone from a potential airport to a probable airport. So let's stay the course. And the good thing about that airport, whether it's a cargo airport, which is 95%, I'm sure it will be a cargo. But the good thing about the cargo airport is jobs, economic opportunities for us to build around it. But the last community that they leave out of before they touch the airport is University Park. And the first community going north, if they're taking the cargo elsewhere, is University Park. This town has an opportunity like we've never had before. I'm just sitting on a box of surprises and secrets and relationships because as a former trustee for 12 years, I truly understand the passion that we have, but sometimes we put a project out there ahead of itself and it doesn't happen. So now we're gonna all hold it a little close, so it'll be a big celebration once we sign on the dotted line. So look forward to that, look forward to innovative things with 201U, Governor State, job opportunities. Matter of fact, Bemba has 20 positions open now. Go to your website right now, there's opportunities at Bemba. Oh, thank you, Trustee. That's what you were going to tell me? Yeah. Thank you so much for the reminder. We're going to have a special meeting. Is that December the 3rd here? It's going to have some very important items on there. And we just look forward to serving you guys. I just thank you for the opportunity to serve. And I thank the God, first of all, for giving me a supportive board of trustees who shares the vision of an opportunity for this village to continue moving forward. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And I'd like to wish everyone well. And Debbie Stroud, yes ma'am. Now I done already told these people, I'm only gonna take 2. But come on, Miss Debbie Stroud.
On the agenda, it says committee and commissions also, and I really didn't know where to come forward.
Come on with your report, ma'am, and then we're gonna get up out of here.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening to the board, mayor, trustees, everybody present, everybody viewing. Quite naturally, I've got a report about the University Park Senior Citizens Committee. We're ending our 25th year, December 14th. So, I've got to put out there what we have done, what our seniors have been doing. Seniors are important in this community, and some of us that are vital, vigor, we're out there. We've done a prototype with Northern Illinois Food Bank right here at the town center. We've been partnering with Oak Street Health for their Paint and Sip event. We only had apple cider though, no Moscato. Okay. We've even seen Aretha Franklin's Grace movie. We sponsored a Just Walk event where even Miss Buford was one of those that didn't walk the route once, she walked it twice with some of the other senior citizen committees, with the members. We went to Windy City Live. When you go there, like other talk shows, they give you gifts. Our gift was Shaka Khan. We got a chance to go to that concert. In our back to school celebration, some of our members
Like I mentioned at another board meeting, some of our members walk from Palmer Park all the way to, from Sandra Drive, all the way to Palmer Park. And I gotta give it a hand for those 3 seniors, and I want everybody else to give us a hand. Give them a hand. I didn't do it, I drove it. One of the 2 vehicles that first time we ever had in a parade in this community. For those that attended, you know, we had an awesome 25th anniversary senior fun day. This place looked so different that day, because we were balling. And we did a senior shopping trip to give residents that do not have vehicles an opportunity to get to pharmacy, to get to Dollar Tree, the stores that seniors like going to. We even took in a play at Park Forest. Beautiful, $5 play. It was awesome. So, I say all that to say, village residents, through the assistance of that white bus that says Village of University Park, we have had an opportunity of doing local trips. Some of the other events we attend, yes, we pay out of pocket to get the right kind of vehicle to transport us. But often I keep hearing about what University Park doesn't have. Well, they do have that white bus. And it has been transporting us seniors. We appreciate it, very much so. We need that to we need it to continue as much as possible. Thank you, Trustee Bell, for mentioning about Northern Illinois Food Bank. I've been taking residents there for the last 2 years. It's real dear and near to my heart. Trustee Franklin, I'll gladly join whatever group you can come up with in regards to sex trafficking, human trafficking, speaking with these females of the community. I've been involved in some of those classes, and I'd like to definitely volunteer any service I can give to you.
Thank you.
So, that being the case, as chairman, I'd like to wish everybody from the Senior Citizens Committee a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, have safe times, because this is the last, this is the last committee report I can do this year. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
No problem.
Because all of you are such a hard act to follow. I'm serious, all the comments you all had. But thank you so much.
Okay, and no problem, Mrs. Stroud. You work extremely hard, and your passion for this community is overwhelming. Thank you so much for all that you do for us.
Thank you. I do it for the residents. That's my heart.
Okay.
Truly appreciate it.
One last update I'd like to give everybody. For those who don't know, our senator that represents the Village of University Park is no longer Toy Hutchinson. Toy Hutchinson has escalated to a higher position, working with the governor as the Illinois czar for cannabis in the state. And our new appointed senator now is Patrick Joyce, which is a downstater that lives in the Kankakee area. I had the opportunity, Senator Joyce came up, maybe a week or so ago before we went to the conference, and we spent maybe an hour, what was a 30-minute meeting for an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours. So that's who the new senator is. It's Patrick Joyce. His father served in the Senate some time ago with the late Cecil Partee. So, but there's also going to be a contested race in the primary. So there are a variety of candidates out there, and that's going on for our Senate race. And there's other things going on in Will County, because Larry Walsh is no longer going to be the Will County president because he's resigning. So there's going to be a heated contested race of the candidates for our Will County president. So a lot's going on in the area. Keep the faith. Ladies, stay safe. Be careful of your surroundings. When you stop the car and put it in park, get out the car. Don't look through your purse. Don't make no phone calls. Unfortunately, it's a dangerous world, and there are a lot of people out here who don't mean us any good. And with that, Trustee, you had one thing?
Yes. It's one more person I forgot to thank, and I'm sitting here looking at her. She's always silent, always quiet, but always working and always there. Miss Buford, I just have to thank you for everything that you do for the children, everything that you do for the community, because she's always constantly working. She's behind the scenes but she does a lot. And I just want to take the time to thank you and wish you a happy holiday.
I concur. I concur. Trustee.
I
This is
truly
the-
concur.
And I concur too. All right, trust me.
And I concur too.
There's a lot of love in this room. That's a good thing moving forward. Go ahead, Trustee.
This is addendum to the last message to the residents of University Park. Each one of us up here has a different skill set, and I believe that I trust in the fact that God placed everybody on this board for a reason, because it's hard as heck to get up here. It's hard as heck to get up here. And there's a lot of hands you have to shake to get up here. And once you up here, you have to deal with the campaign contributions and paying people back. So you have to want this position to be able to represent your community. I've been a part of this community since 1994. 90s, wow, 1994. And back to the conference that was in San Jose, the village manager and our mayor had an opportunity to close out the session with us, and guess who was the keynote speaker, which was Common. But Common is an Academy Award winning person, and he gave a dynamic speech at the end. And guess what? Our mayor knew him anyway, prior to him becoming Common. Yeah, he talked to him after the speech, and I think it was absolutely phenomenal because he remembered the mayor from way back in the day. So, and the village manager had her birthday over the course of the conference, and we'd like to thank you for your Sweet 16, and you really helped everybody with your dancing skills, because I can't keep up with you. I can't keep up. Right, I know that. So I just want to tell you this, that you have a dynamic team up here, people that elected to be up here and worked really hard, and everyone comes with a different skill set. And Mr. Franklin, closer to home, my son's girlfriend, she was in Atlanta recently, and she's from, of Puerto Rican descent, but he didn't know it that she spoke Spanish fluently. The person spoke, talking about taking them, really. And this was a lift. They ordered a lift, and they were coming home from an event. And if she didn't know Spanish, what the hell? She wouldn't have known them trying to get them as, really. So they got an opportunity to get out of the car doing a gas station fill-up, right? But if she didn't know Spanish, wow. So that really hit home, and I appreciate you for bringing light to that, and I will do everything that I can to work with that, definitely. Okay, then, everybody have a nice Thanksgiving.
Is there a motion?
So move, adjourn.
Moved by Trustee Brooks, second by Trustee Williams. God bless everybody. Have a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. Don't spend all your money on Black Friday. There are some good deals out there, though. All eyes? Aye.